Hey everybody, Jared with Second Life Design. Welcome to Woodshop Wednesday. In the spirit of starting off with the basics, we're going to talk about sanding. I get a lot of questions about it. In the coming videos, I'm going to go over some finishing products. I'm going to do one on Odie's oil. I'm going to do one on a film finish and how to get a nice appearance with that. And I know there's going to be questions about my sanding process, and want to just cover that quickly and then talk about sanders a little bit, and we'll go from there. So I found anymore that I have a Festool, the Rotex sander, the 6-inch sander, have a nice dust collector hooked up to it, and I only have to sand up to about 180. I do skip, I don't skip any grits, where I start off at 60 or 80, generally about 80 grit, and I go through the 100, 120, 150, 180. That's all I'm not doing up into the high grits, into the 320s and 360s and all that. I don't have to go that far. I found, by and large, by having a dust collector hooked up, you're going to get much better results with sanding. You're not going to have to go as high into grits as you would without it. That was a big turning point for me. Whenever I finally got the dust collector, it was a vacuum. It doesn't have to be the fancy Festool dust collector or Mirka or whoever else you want to use. It's a regular shop vac hooked to a Porter cable sander, and I saw a night and day difference in my finishes, because I wasn't having to sand as high, because I was pulling the dust out as I was sanding it off. They can put their little dust bags on the sanders or whatever, but unless you're actually pulling it away, you're just grinding a lot of that stuff back into the wood. You're filling all those pores in again. It's going to seem like it takes a lot longer to sand than what it does. So I think that's, especially people starting out, nobody likes sanding. You don't want to spend a lot on a sander. You just want to get something that's going to do the job. You're not thinking about how to speed things up. And by going with the bigger sander, with the big dust collector, I found that I don't have to sand as high. I can go a little bit quicker. Having a dual mode sander is fantastic. There's only a few options for those out there, but having a dual mode sander is amazing. I would recommend that to anyone. Also, stepping up to a 6-inch sander. If you want to go with a box store sander, that I understand, consider stepping up to a 6-inch. It is only 1 inch more, but if you think about it, that's 20% more. That's that much more area that you're covering with each pass. That's going to speed things up. That's the time. That's going to minimize the dreaded sanding time. So those little things can add up to, if you're pulling the dust off, you have a bigger sanding pad, you're not having to go as high up into grits, you're not going to spend as much time sanding. So that's my process. That's why I have the stuff I have. I know it's a big expense. I get it. I've been there. I made do with what I had until I could afford the bigger, nicer things. I have the Rotex now. That's like $600. Crazy, big, expensive purchase. That was the first Festool thing I bought. That and the dust collector at the same time. Yeah, crazy expensive. There are other dual mode sanders out there. Bosch makes a really nice one that's about half the price of the Festool. I've heard really good things about it. That's definitely worth looking into. I think Triton makes one. I just looked it up. It doesn't have the best reviews, so maybe avoid that one or do your own research. But getting a dual mode sander can really improve things. Having a dust collector, just for your own health, one, but just to improve the clarity of the sanding job, where you're pulling the stuff off versus grinding it back into the wood. That's what makes the biggest difference to me. I've found a night and day difference when I didn't have to sand up to the 320s anymore, and just going through all the grits and just how much time that took and all that. I know that's repetitive, but I'm really trying to hammer that point home, that if you're not running a dust collector or a shop vac sanding, please give it a shot. Just do what you can. So look for some coming videos on wood finishing and things like that. That's going to be in the future. Anything else you want to see, let me know. Other basic things, techniques. I'm going to get into track saws versus table saws and things. I'm trying to put that video together, maybe a couple videos. So drop some comments down below or any questions. You can find me on Instagram at Second Life Design. I appreciate all the feedback. Please subscribe. I'm working very hard to have new videos every week. And there's also my Milling Monday series that are there every week also. So if you're into chainsaw milling, you're interested in chainsaw milling, definitely check that out. So I appreciate everyone's support. Have a good night.